In this video, we are going to manipulate table cells on a website page so that data and images will line up horizontally using a table that's already set up on this page. So we are going to use Trailing of the Sheep today. We are on the News and Videos page. So this page is a long sort of scrolling page that has some videos at the top, and then it has individual text entries that are aligned at the left with their corresponding images. And this table was originally set up to correspond in a grid, and it looks like some of the images and text have not been added properly in the table cells. So we are going to correct that. I'll show you how to do that. It looks like here there's some text that we might want to repaste in here because it's maybe has brought in some formatting from its previous format that's making it have a gray background hue. So if we go up to the top of this page and click on Edit News and Videos, and then scroll down, this page has a table set up in here that we will want to use. And what a table is it's a preset grid, and that grid enables you to drop in photos and content into the squares of the grid, which forces them to align in a deliberate way, either vertically or horizontally or both. So tables have borders because they are a grid. What I do once I set these tables up is I hide the borders because they're frankly kind of ugly to have the borders. But they're really handy to have them showing when you actually go in here to edit so you can see where your table borders in your grid actually are. So now that we're in edit mode, if you see if I click in here, these little icons right here, there's a little X with two arrows. If I click here, there's an X and two arrows. If I click on the photo up here of the sheep, there's an X and two arrows, and then one over here on the left. These indicate that these items are existing in a gridded table cell. So in order to be able to see those borders, we're going to click and make sure that our cursor is anywhere in the text or selecting a photo, just so we know that this page knows that we are activating this table. So I'm going to come up here in my tools, and I'm going to mouse over Edit Table Cell, which as you can see is a little grid icon. I'm going to click on that, and I'm actually going to scroll down to the bottom selection and click on Edit Cell, and then I get this dialog box. The next thing I'm going to do is click on Properties. Okay, and then I'm going to come down here to Border Style. And this shows us all the different options that we could use if we actually wanted to use the table border as a design motif. I usually prefer not to use it. I like the white background instead. But today, since we want to use it so that we can actually see the table, I'm going to click here on this single line. I'm going to click on one point and make sure that it's black, because if it's white I won't be able to see it on the white background. Now I'm going to click OK. Now this is very important because we want to see the border of the whole table, not just one of the individual cells. So in order to activate the border on the whole table where it says Apply To, we need to say Whole Table. And then we're going to click here, OK. Now as you can see, these text boxes and these image boxes have boxes. Now it is a grid, and you can see the outlines around these individual pieces of the grid. The other thing that you can see on here is that some of these items, Zions Bank has its photo to the left in a cell, and all of the Zions Bank text is lined up exactly to the right in its own cell as well. So we want to make sure, as you can see, this is photo is aligned with its text and confined to that box so that it doesn't spill out anywhere you don't want it to go. And you can see this grid down here is pretty consistent. These things on the left are aligned to their corresponding data on the right. So what has happened up here at the top is that it looks like a lot of data got added into one really long cell here, and likewise over here, so that these aren't corresponding with the data on the right. So in order to clean this up, we are going to add some table cells in here to force them to align. So let's start here, because we can see USA Today features the Sheep Festival. That goes with this photo right here, and then the next one down, Trailing the Sheep Festival on Armed Forces Radio with John Peavy, corresponds with the photo on the left of John Peavy, but isn't really aligned very well to that end at the moment, so we're going to clean that up. So these little icons right here, if we wanted to add a horizontal cell above this, we would click on the arrow that's pointing up, meaning that we want to actually put a cell between Special Basque Family Dinner and Wool Show, and that would enable us to put something right in here. I think what we'll do is we will click on the down arrow and add something in between here so that we can actually move this one up into that new cell. So I'm going to click over here on the left on the little down arrow. It actually turns orange when you scroll right over it. Okay, now as you can see, that made an extra space. Now what it does not do when you do this is, even though it is part of this grid, it doesn't actually add the outlines unless you go back up and activate the border again. But we know that it's there because we can see these little icons now above and to the side of this new area. So what I'm going to do, I want to move this photo up to that spot. So I'm going to click on this photo such that you can see these little handles around the photo confirming that it is indeed selected. I'm going to hit Command X, which is cut, and I'm going to activate this cell right here, and I'm going to click paste. So there it goes, lined up into this space with the other photos. Likewise, I'm going to grab the text that goes with it and cut and paste into this space so that it is aligned with the photo. And we're going to do that again. We're going to come here and we want to put John Peavy underneath the USA Today in its own cell. So I'm going to click the down arrow again on our new cell, and that creates another one underneath it. Click on John, cut John, paste John, and come down here and get the corresponding text. Right here, cut, scroll back up, click in this space to the right of John, and paste. So what we've done is we've created these two new horizontal spaces where these things will go, and I'm actually going to do a couple more of these so you can see, and then we'll go back in and reactivate the table borders so that you can see for sure where the new borders are. I'm going to cut and paste, and I'm going to grab the content that goes with that. Everything's really out of whack now, but it'll look better. Paste. Okay, so as you can see, these are really starting to line up nicely. Now, this just needs some of these returns taken out because I think there's just too many returns in here. Okay, and let's make some returns to get this photo up to the top. All right. Okay, so we're going to continue to add these in here. Cut, paste, grab the content, cut, paste. Let's see how many more we have here to go. Okay, well there's a few. For now, let's leave that, what we've done here, and let's go down here to the bottom of the page. Before we click Save, I beg your pardon, let's click in anywhere here in our table so that our cursor is within our table, and go back up to this icon up here, Edit Table Cell, Edit Cell, go back to Properties, click on Border Style, make sure that the line is selected, one point is selected, it's black, click OK, and then again don't forget to come down to Apply to Whole Table and click OK. Now if we scroll back up here, we can see that these items are more organized and are aligned horizontally with the photo to the left of the text. Here is how they looked before we aligned them. They're just sort of floating. They're not really quite lined up with any particular photo. They're a little bunched together. One thing you can also do if they start to get too bunched up is you can put some spaces in here just so they're not running together. So we'll go ahead and just do these last two or three. Let's see, whoops, there's a new horizontal cell. Grab the photo, make sure it's selected, cut, paste, select, cut, paste. Okay, this is all belongs together, all of this content here. So we'll just go ahead and do returns here. And then it looks like we need to actually click down on this great big long one here, and we need to cut Zions Bank out of there and add it down here. And then go back up here and cut the text for Zions Bank here and put it with Zions Bank. Okay, so this is an example of how to get these to line up, and I'm going to conclude this with getting rid of the borders, because now that we've lined everything up, we really don't want those gridded borders because they're just kind of ugly. If you think these are still too scrunched together, if you don't like how scrunched the photos are together, if you click on a photo and you want to put a return under a photo, you can click on the photo and arrow to the right and shift. On your keyboard, select the photo with your mouse, arrow to the right, return. I didn't mean to say shift, I meant to say return. Click on the photo, arrow to the right, return. And that gives them some more space, so they're just not so scrunched in here together. Okay. Okay, now before I do my final save, I want to actually get rid of my gridded lines. So I'm going to click in any of my table cells here, and I'm going to come back up here, Edit Cell, Properties, Border Style. Now I'm going to click No Border because I want to get rid of the border. So I want no border. I'm going to click OK, Apply to Whole Table, OK, and then they're gone. So then we come down here and click Save. Okay, so then if you scroll down, you can see how now they are aligned on the right, the text blocks, with their corresponding photo on the left. Thank you.